Well, welcome back and Happy New Year! Well, that's an odd thing to be saying, it's still December, but anyway. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're older, you'll remember back in March we started lockdown, and in June-ish time we were allowed to finally get away. And en route, I did say to you at the time, don't worry, I will be coming back to the kit we use section, where I looked at this Canon camera that I'm talking to you on now and all its lenses, then went into the iPhone and the apps and what it can and can't do, ND filters. It went on and on and on. But I hadn't finished. There was so much more to be done. There was lots of holes. There was lots of new stuff that I needed to talk to you about, like the GoPro 9. There was also things like this, hard disks, portable hard disks that I need to talk to you about. In fact, there's the 360 camera that we also need to talk to you about. There's a whole host of things. There's apps that I use for all this stuff. There's how to get all this stuff onto YouTube. There's the music elements of it. Wi-Fi, how to do that in a caravan. We have lots of different tools that can do the job. I'll explain what those are. We also need to talk about Apple's AirDrop, and if not, how to get media off. And then you got stitching of all the software together, from the drone, from this camera, from the GoPro, from the session that we have as well. You got all this stuff to be able to bring together. I'm talking to you today on my main Canon camera, so it's got a Rode audio microphone on it. Maybe you don't want to use the audio from that, maybe you want to use it from somewhere else, so we need to have a look at those too. Lighting, as you can see, I've got an overhead light and also one down the bottom projected on my face so you can see it clearly. So we've got power banks to talk about as well, because that light that I'm talking to you down here on is actually using a power bank. But without further ado, let's get started on this camera. Now breathe in, you're on camera. And you know, this COVID stuff is not really doing an awful lot of good for the girth, because you need to get out and about. Anyway, I've had a parcel arrive in the post, and I think I know what's in there, because I think it's time to replace the old GoPro 3. Now, you probably would have seen that when we were up at the top of the water slide, we were doing some panning with this, and it was so slow and jerky. I think it's time to get a replacement, and the wife gave me permission to order this online, so let's get it out of the box. Getting out of the box is quite a chore, I have to say. Now, what is quite nice, the actual GoPro Hero 9 does come in one of these little bags. I'll just not doing a grand opening, there's plenty of videos online for that. I'm just going to pull this out of here, don't need that bit, and let this cover off because I don't need that either. So it comes in a nice little carry case, and it's kind of hardish, but it will certainly protect it well. And in there is the GoPro Hero 9 itself, and cables and all, and one battery it comes with as well. Now, what I have also ordered is this dual charger, and in there it has one spare battery as well. So to go along with that one, I can have two at once. What I also ordered for this is the media mod. What's that in there? Manual. And this is the actual media mod itself, and the GoPro will then slide inside it, and this will clip over the side, which means that it's got its own microphone, but I can plug in a separate one if I want to, but just to see how that is. And it has got some little slots on the top and one on the side as well for plugging in, I don't know, lights or extra external microphones if I want to use those instead. So it comes with all those bits, so that's good. And the last thing I ordered was this little stand. So this is what they call the three-way. It is a tripod, which is good, what I need. But as you can see on the back of it, there's lots of different options for you to extend this to be whatever you need it to be. So I'm going to have a little play with that. So all in all, there she is. If I do a comparison next to my old 3, it is similar in size. Also, I don't need a waterproof case for this, because this wasn't waterproof. It had to have a plastic case on it, so that was quite big. So that I can get rid of now. So this one's waterproof. And the nice thing about it is, it's got that screen on the front, so you know, selfie mode, I can actually do videoing like this. I don't actually need to get the big camera out. Maybe the microphone, so we'll see. Well, I'll give it a play on the GoPro Hero 9 with the media mod on and the tripod on it, and I'll let you know. Whilst the GoPro is charging and the extra battery charge is plugged in, charging the other battery as well, I'll talk to you about these two. So I'm quite impressed by this. We'll start with the first thing that I want to do. It's a handheld grip thing, but it has a tripod. Now actually the inside of this is hollow, and you unscrew the bottom and out comes the tripod piece. So you screw it back in again, and then you can open these three up, and then that forms your tripod. Now maybe that the thing that you're wanting needs to be a bit higher, and then you can use this to give you more height, and then you can tighten these up to give you some more stability if you want to as well, which is good. And then the GoPro would obviously sit on the top, so that would give you the height that I'm after. But let's say I don't want that at this stage, so we can fold that back down again. Oh, by the way, as I found out, there's a blue button. You push that, that enables that to flop back down. I'll push it again, down the bottom, and maybe that's the height that I'm after. So in actual fact, this is actually very good, just the job. And obviously you extend it out, it can be like a selfie if you want to. So if you want to film something far away and you want to get more people involved with it, yeah. So all in all, I think that was a good addition. When I was ordering online, I thought, do I really need that? But yeah, I'm quite pleased that I did actually do that in the end. It goes that way. Press the blue button. I'll leave the tripod up because I'm going to show you that in a bit. It's all connected up. Now, the second thing is this media mod, which is that I got because I'm thinking actually, without all this setup, which I'm going to show you in a bit when all this is on, I'm pretty sure I can just do it with these two bits. Now, and all it has, a little plastic clip there, so it just clips on. Now, the actual mod itself, I'll just shut that door because we don't have the GoPro just yet. You'd be careful with these things, I suppose. Now, inside it, there's a USB-C port, obviously for keeping the camera charged, so you can charge from the outside. And you'll see that there are three little covers which can seal. Just open those up. So there's a USB-C port in the middle. Down at the bottom there's a normal 3.5mm jack for plugging in a normal phone, and a HDMI mini port at the top. So I'll just connect those three back up. So obviously there's a microphone at the back, quite a small one, but there's a big one at the front, and obviously this fits on to that. So I'm hoping that that would be quite good, but we'll see. I have a large Rode microphone on this camera that I'm talking to you on, so we'll see whether or not I need that for this, or whether this will suffice. Okay, the moment of truth. It is not fully charged, but we'll see. And granted, it's only a few feet away from me, but let's have a look and see what happens. So I presume I'll take those down. Just to slide it into. Hang on. So how do you open? Hang on. The USB-C port. So I'm doing this without reading any manuals. Ah, okay, so that has to come off somehow. Oh, there we go. Just slides off. So that's exposed the USB-C port at the bottom there. And inside that is the USB-C. So I presume that slides in. Yes, it does. And then clips down. So you do that without that. It's interesting, so I'm wondering, you need to keep them then. And then put these two legs down. see why they've had to cut a little recess out in order to make that big enough for your hand to fit through. Okay, I should get my t-shirt in the lens. There we go. And then turn it on, which I think is that one. It's beeped. Does it say anything on the screen? Oh, look, we've got an image. It says GoPro Hero 9 in black on that front screen. I presume there's no image yet, it's not actually set it all up. On the back of it, alright, it's English, yeah, alright, there's some basic settings you have to do first. Let's just do skip setup. There we go, so we have some image at the back. It's set for 1080p 60 and wide, which is fine. We'll just have a look, see how that works with the mod that's on there. Hit record. That says we're recording. I've only got a third of a battery on there, but we'll see how that sounds. So pretty good sounding this way, I presume, going to the normal setup. Okay, well, let's see. I'll pop it on and we'll have a look. And this one is just using the actually I'll do it that way. And this one is just using the microphone on the actual GoPro itself. What do you think? Okay, hello, another test. So what we have is, I'm talking to you on a GoPro session 5, and here is the 9 setup, and this is all now charged up. I've set this up to 5K so that when I turn it on, it should beep at me. And does it tell in the front? Yeah, 5K, 25 frames per second and wide angle. Right, to pull this out of the way, here's the microphone attached to that. So you should be seeing this as well, 5K, yeah, 25. Now what I have got is my Rode mic here. I just want to see, when I plug this 3.5mm plug into it, when I plug it into the side on my main camera, it will then turn this little light on and activate this microphone. So I'm going to see what happens with that when I turn it on. So it is on 5K 25 and wide. I'm going to set it on to record. Get that turning on. There we go. So now it's recording. So that's in 5K 25. It doesn't actually say anything on the front. What does it say on the back? Nothing. So it's just recording. But there's an audio meter on there. That's interesting. Yes, and it's working fine. There's no audio meter on the front, and it doesn't tell you what frame rate or filming you're recording in, but it has done it. So let me turn that off. So yeah, as I was saying, so this microphone, I'm not going to use the one that's built into this GoPro Hero 9. I'm not going to use that microphone. I'm going to be using this one and see what difference that sound makes. So bear with me 1 second whilst I plug that in. So if I recall, it is the bottom plug on there. Yes, it is. So let's see what happens when I plug it in. So normally that should say something. That light has come on, so that's good. So that it's seen that and immediately changed it to that. It does say 5K 25 wide. So I'm just going to hit recording on it now. See what happens. So the 5K, all that info disappears. Nothing apart from a meter appears on the back. And what I am going to do is turn this microphone around, because obviously it's a directional one. So instead of using that little one, we should now be using this big one. Still doesn't say anything on there. I'm just going to turn it around. Meter's still going on that, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Right, it's still recording, so I'll turn it all off. By turning it off, has it extinguished the blue light on the back of this? No, that's still going. Now I suspect that's the connection. It sees the connection that's turned on. So I can prove that just by turning the power to the camera off. And see if that disappears. Turning off. And we'll give it I think it's 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah, now out it's gone. Okay. So let's move on to sticking it on the Caravan. So how do we do that? And just to test it out, I put it at 5K 25 frames a second, and needless to say, there is an adapter that you can buy. So that's that little stucky suction cup thing at the bottom of that picture there. And you'll see it now stuck onto the outside of the Caravan, and obviously the GoPro's waterproof, so I don't need a cover. So next we'll have a look at a little bit of slow motion, and for this one we're very keen on the number at the end of the rate here. So we can see that we're doing it in 2.7K, but we have 100 frames to be able to slow the image right the way down. Now on this particular one it's in 5K, but it's only got 25 frames, so if you look, it's jerky. Okay. So moving on to our nighttime experience, what we did is we fitted our little light to the top of the camera in terms of one of these little hot shoes. So you just screw it on. It's got batteries on the back. Yeah, we're off. Ready, Jess?
Put the outside light on.
See, that's what we're seeing in a minute.
Yeah, where are we going?
Down better. The water goes. This is, there we go. What do you think then, Jess?
It's just got a dot round the step, hasn't it?
You can definitely hear the wind howling the trees.
Motorbike? So that's the road, isn't it?
That's the main road, yeah. And you've got McDonald's just there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why it's a bit loud.
Oh,
Boy races.
doesn't bother me. But we live in our town, big town, don't we? Come on.
Yeah, this is the main road, so I'm going to turn this light off. You just see how it performs. I don't think it does all that well then. Not a lot of light. Now we're getting into a more lighted area. Lighted, that's a good English word. Lit word. Oh. I'll turn the light lit off. Light off.
There are lots of rabbits here, there'll be warning.
Okay, is that what she's looking for, is it? Oh, it's a bit windy here.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how this media mod with the mic thing, muffle, wind baffle thing, whatever they call it, works.
Looks quite bad. Oh,
Yeah?
look, somebody revving their bike engine over and over.
Yeah. Oh, even I saw it, Jess. A load of rabbits just went shot in there.
Oh, really?
Where she's heading. Yep. There you go. You been pulled yet?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there we go. She's, yeah, they went in there. This is a preview of 5K, and obviously I can spin it around. And there we go. So I'm just going to pop this down onto my laptop and pick up my iPhone. Nothing on it. Just going to swipe that open. I'm going to control your GoPro. It says connecting at the front. Obviously GoPro want me to join in with stuff, and it comes up with enable preview turned off. I'll just turn that on. There we go. And do I want to join? Yes, I do. I'll try again. Come on, connecting. And I'll just turn this around so you can see that it says to off preview, but it showed me what I've got on this camera. So just up, You know, down to my yeah, there we go. But there we go. It works fine. But don't forget, when you hit record, it will stop. So I'm just going to prove that. Hit record. It says recording on there, and on the phone, preview not available. Stop recording again. Does it come back? Yes, it does. There we go. That's 5K. I had to start at 1080p though in order to get this to work in the first place. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Happy New Year to you all.